Once again, Democrats have snatched defeat from the jaws of victory and not only made themselves and their party into a gigantic joke just 1 week after securing massive election day wins that the Senate Democrats seem to have completely ignored when they decided to cave to Republicans on Sunday night. But here we are, getting nothing in return and making the longest shutdown in American history totally and utterly pointless. And up until this point, the public was in agreement, according to polling and the results of Tuesday's election. Things are bad because of Trump. The government is shut down because of Trump and his loyalists. Now, by totally capitulating, Senate Democrats have signaled that they had the power to do this all along. And all of the people who missed meals or travel or paychecks are probably going to be pretty confused and upset because what did they get in return? Nothing.
Yeah, we went from who's trying to take away your health care? Trump. Who's trying to take away your food stamps? Trump. Who's trying to take away everything? Trump. And now, who's trying to take it away? Well, both parties. Both parties are doing it.
But yeah, the Democrats blinked first. Now you get nothing.
But hold on, though. They did get a big briefcase full of IOUs.
Yes.
And those are as good as cash.
Of course. We've all seen the movie Dumb and Dumber. You're going to want to hold on to those. Those IOUs.
That's right. All the Dems got in return for voting to reopen the government was a pinky promise from Republicans that there will be a vote on those ACA subsidies somewhere down the line.
We'll get the healthcare subsidies figured out. We only have, 5 weeks before they expire. We'll figure it out. I'm sure that they will stick to their word.
Yeah, and that's a vote that will obviously fail if it even makes it to the House. And a vote that could have been scheduled before this shutdown went into effect, potentially avoiding it from the beginning.
Yeah, Republicans would have happily been like, yeah, we'll discuss this in December. Sure, that gives us everything we want, nothing that you want, and we can just kick this ball down the line until something else happens. And that's literally what just happened.
Senator Chuck Schumer, the Senate minority leader, the party leader of the Democrats. Well, Chuck Schumer technically voted no, but the people, it was all a fucking charade.
It was a collaboration, yes.
Yeah, the people who did vote yes, they need to be primaried out of their positions immediately, except they can't be because
a lot of them,
conveniently, they're all they've all got several years before they're actually up for election because senators are elected every 6 years and they're hoping, well, by the time those people are up for re-election, you'll forget all about it. We cannot reiterate enough that this happened during the biggest swing in momentum that Democrats have had since Trump took office. The election results from last week do not lie. And the flight cancellation sparked by the Trump administration brought tensions to a boiling point. They were winning. The Democrats.
Yeah.
Were the culture war, they were winning. Hey, it's the Republicans' fault.
And everyone seemed to agree on that.
This shutdown was Republicans' fault because they refused to negotiate the health care. But Dems were the first to blink. Who knows why? And now they're telling everyone that actually it's fine because now they can vote on those ACA subsidies next month, just days before they're set to expire, sending everyone's insurance payments skyrocketing. It's one of the worst political fumbles we've seen in a while.
Yeah, it's very... The immediate reaction that I saw, my immediate reaction, and then the one that I saw mirrored back at me online was, what? Why? What?
And there seems to be it is always interesting when people on the left are as annoyed as centrist dipshits like Matt Iglesias and Chris Cillizza. They're all, the entire crowd is just, what?
Even Gavin Newsom was like, excuse me? This is awful.
Yeah.
Ro Khanna was like, Chuck Schumer, you need to get out. And he's right.
I mean, bullying Chuck Schumer, that's an easy way to score points right now, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Out of all the mainstream reporting on the vote, The Atlantic had one of the better takes on just how bizarre it was to watch all this implode. The odd thing is that the shutdown was actually working for Democrats, but in a way that some Democratic senators did not fully internalize, and which makes their ultimate capitulation tonight much harder to understand. Polls found that the public narrowly but consistently placed the blame on Donald Trump and his allies, not congressional Democrats. The likely reason is that Trump has comported himself unlike any other president, flaunting his impunity in ways both important, refusing to fund programs authorized by Congress, and visible, a unilateral demolition of the East Wing. He hosted a decadent Great Gatsby Halloween party at Mar-a-Lago hours before millions of Americans lost food stamps. Trump's approval ratings have tailed off sharply during the shutdown. Indeed, Trump himself attributed the Republican Party's surprisingly dismal performance in Tuesday's elections to the shutdown. What's more, Democrats' goal during the shutdown was to draw more public attention to healthcare, one of their strongest issues, and one where Republicans are engineering a social catastrophe.
Yeah, it was all working, and for good reasons. You were going to keep people on their healthcare plans at a price that they could, not afford, but it wouldn't be the change that is definitely coming.
Yeah, it was understood that, yes, the government being shut down is very bad, especially the longest shutdown in history, but there's a reason this is happening.
The reason we're fighting for is to save your healthcare.
Yeah, the reason
they're taking everything.
If we open the government back up, everyone's going to lose their fucking healthcare. So it sucks right now. But if we allow to happen what they're trying to happen, things will suck a lot more.
Yeah, it'll show that they're hurting people, everyday people who rely on these things, these government services. And it really only started shifting when the flights started getting interrupted, because that's when the people who have lots of money, their lives start getting affected by it.
Yeah.
So they talk.
I had no flight troubles, by the way.
There you go. They talk about how this was inevitably leading to Trump forcing the Senate to get rid of the filibuster, and that would be them forcing the shutdown to end. This would have been a win for Democrats eventually, because the blame would have been placed entirely at the feet of the Trump administration for the shutdown, and the changes that they were going for in the Senate would heavily benefit Democrats if, or when, hopefully when, but if they eventually return to power. So instead, everything will be back to where it was 6 weeks ago. The healthcare subsidies aren't guaranteed in any way, and Trump gets to do a victory lap instead of looking like the evil piece of shit that he is. And obviously this pissed off a lot of members of the Democratic Party, and even members of a baffled corporate news media who in some cases got combative with senators about their decisions.
We're going to have this vote, and Democrats will show who we are when it comes to protecting health care, and Republicans will show who they are.
But you could have done that 40 days ago.
Not agree, but hold on a second. But I wouldn't have gotten full funding for SNAP, and I wouldn't have gotten protection for federal workers, because I needed the president to do that, and he only engaged a couple of days ago.
It doesn't seem like some of the party is just angry about this. It seems like this is ripping the party apart at a time where it felt like the party was coming back together post-elections.
Ripping the party apart? I think you're over-dramatizing this. I know the news business is to try to make everything like the biggest crisis since the Cuban Missile Crisis or something.
Don't say it's me.
There's differences of opinion.
I will quote your fellow Democrats. Gavin Newsom calls it pathetic. Hakeem Jeffries, complete BS. AOC says this is not about a base of voters. This is about
Katie,
about people's lives. Chris Murphy says it makes Donald Trump stronger. This is a moment that demands fighters, not folders.
Yeah.
This is me quoting Democrats. I'm not making things up.
Yeah, it's not even about ideology. It's about how could you be this bad strategically?
Yes.
How could you be this bad at just politics in general?
Mm-hmm. Why now? Why when everything was going, the 1 week where everything was going the Democrats' way, and even people further on the left, everyone got a little something on Tuesday. Everyone was feeling a little good. Everyone got a little recharge, and then all of a sudden, fucking Chuck Schumer and Senate Democrats just rug pull everyone.
They fundamentally do not understand negotiation and leverage.
No.
In a way that is kind of baffling for me.
It's infuriating, honestly.
Yeah.
Because they had so much of it and just handed it over.
As for everyone else, holy shit. Despite what Tim Kaine is attempting to say over there in the membrane, this move has torn the party apart after a week of short-lived joy. We couldn't have had that last too long, could we? Here's just a few of the reactions to this news from other Democrats, including a vast amount of centrist Dems, who are just as shocked by this as people further on the left. Here's Mickey Sherrill, who was just voted in as governor of New Jersey last Tuesday. Voters made it clear the American people want leadership with a backbone. And at a critical moment when they need leaders to stay strong under pressure, the Senate is on the brink of caving on a bill that the American people can't afford. Make no mistake, if this deal passes, it will lead to New Jerseyans paying far more for their health care when they are already paying more and more for everything. Making this deal is malpractice. We have more than 9 million people in New Jersey who are counting on us to fight for them, and instead, Washington is putting them in harm's way. Not on my watch. And then Senator Bernie Sanders, he spoke to CBS News regarding the decision.
Sanders, a Vermont independent who caucuses with Democrats, called the deal a disaster, since there's no guarantee that the expiring health insurance subsidies will be extended. The senator was unimpressed by the promise to hold a vote. It's a meaningless vote because even if it got 100 votes in the Senate, it's not going to go anywhere in the House, and the president certainly would not sign it. Maybe people feel good about having a vote, but it doesn't mean anything at all. Imagine how frustrating this must be, all of this for him. Oh. It's like, because he is old, but it's like one of those thought experiments where you're like, what if so-and-so had lived to see the Trump administration? And Bernie Sanders is cursed with living through it.
Yeah, he's also cursed with that thing where, like, his anger and lack of complacency is keeping him alive.
Yeah.
Keeping him alive and keeping him sharp. Mm-hmm. So he's fully aware of what's happening instead of going peacefully into the night.
Yeah. So he also expressed frustration with the Democrats who voted yes, accusing them of making, quote, a very profound decision without really, to be honest, a lot of caucus discussion. Because, this really seemed to come out of nowhere.
Yeah. Everyone was seemingly on the same page, and then all of a sudden...
just enough Democrats decided enough was enough.
We found exactly as many votes as they needed.
And here are a few more quotes that Politico collected from other elected officials. Pathetic, California Governor Gavin Newsom wrote on X. This is not a deal. It's an empty promise, Governor J.B. Pritzker of Illinois said. Former Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg called it a bad deal. The Sunday agreement even caused a familial dispute. Stephanie Shaheen, who is running in a crowded Democratic primary for an open House seat in New Hampshire, said she couldn't support a deal that failed to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits. Her mother, retiring Senator Jeanne Shaheen, was one of the lead Democratic negotiators of the deal.
Well, how convenient that she's retiring, so whatever.
Yeah, who gives a shit?
You'd think you'd want to retire, like, having stood for something, but...
on my way out, I'm just going to kick the ladder.
I'm going to compromise just any values I may have had by giving the Republicans everything they fucking want. Mm-hmm. That's my legacy.
My legacy? I'll sleep soundly at night.
They add that in cutting a deal, Senate Democrats infuriated a party reinvigorated by its off-year electoral blowout, sparking accusations that the party again squandered its only leverage in the Republican-led Congress, and ensuring Schumer's leadership will remain a touchstone in competitive Senate races. None of the 8 Democrats who voted to break the shutdown stalemate are facing voters next year. 2 are retiring. The rest are not up for re-election until at least 2028. Chuck Schumer, however, is up for re-election next year, and folks, he has got to go.
We need new leadership. Him and Hakeem Jeffries. Please step aside.
It was very funny that, like, it was weird because Hakeem Jeffries, on the one hand, he did say, like, yeah, it's not a good deal. And then he's like, no, Chuck Schumer's great. He needs to keep running things.
Yeah, it seems like they don't know what they're doing. And they should step aside and let someone who has vision step into these roles. Someone with a plan further than, I don't know, a day in front of them.
It's a real...
Because in some cases, a lot of the elected Democrats are literally living day by day. It could happen at any moment. They're very old. But yeah.
And the younger ones are living day by day in a different way because...
they can't afford to eat.
Yeah, until you've really racked up all that lobbying money over several terms, it is actually quite expensive to serve the federal government.
Famously, Gen Z Congressman Maxwell Frost showed up to D.C. and couldn't afford an apartment on his government's house.
Most freshman congressmen are living in essentially frat houses. Mm-hmm. It's really interesting.
Cool.
But so Schumer is, quote, no longer effective and should be replaced. Representative Ro Khanna, a Democrat of California, a potential 2028er, blasted out on X. The Sunrise Movement called for Schumer to step aside. Justice Democrats urged voters to reject the 8 Senate Democrats who allowed the funding patch to proceed. Quote, I don't think the Democrats leading this surrender effort understand the trust they are shattering in their own voting coalition.
Especially with youth voters. My God.
And that was Andrew O'Neill, the National Advocacy Director for Indivisible, warning Sunday night. And, advocacy group Move On, kind of a big deal. They also officially told Chuck Schumer to move the fuck on.
Hey, come on. It's the whole name.
Which is crazy, because they, up till this point, have been like, they have to walk a very tight rope at Move On, I would say, by like having a seat at the table while also advocating as best as they can for like the Democrats to suck a whole lot less. Mm-hmm. But it's pretty kind of remarkable for them to just be like, you gotta go.
Because we are at a pivotal moment here, sir. And if you, like I said, you need to move aside if you are not up to the task.
Here's what Move On said.
As a result of 80% of its members calling for Senator Chuck Schumer to step aside as minority leader in response to Senate Democrats backing away from protecting ACA subsidies to make a deal with Republicans and the Trump administration to end the government shutdown, Move On Political Action Executive Director Katie Bethel released the following statement. With Donald Trump and the Republican Party doubling healthcare premiums, weaponizing our military against us, and ripping food away from children, Move On members cannot accept weak leadership at the helm of the Democratic Party. Americans showed a growing surge of support for Democrats who fought back, both at the ballot box last week and peacefully in the streets last month. Inexplicably, some Senate Democrats under Leader Schumer's watch decided to surrender. It is time for Senator Schumer to step aside as minority leader to make room for those who are willing to fight fire with fire when the basic needs of working people are on the line.
It's sort of a redux of when Joe Biden had to be dragged kicking and screaming from the 2024 election. Mm-hmm. These people are all old as hell, completely out of touch, and high on their own supply to a degree that is kind of unfathomable. Chuck Schumer sees himself as a savvy political deal maker. He thinks what he just did here
He's living in a
heroic.
different reality than the people he represents. Because, like, that's the whole reasoning for the younger people like Zohran Mamdani and stuff is for our entire lifetimes, it's been a gerontocracy. Yeah. And that obviously isn't working.
I mean, say what you will about Nancy Pelosi. She's retiring. She's not dying in office like Diane.
I mean, why now? Why not 20 years ago? Also, like,
she had a lot of money to make on the stock market, Ricky.
The one thing I will say is that, like, smartly, her daughter was like, "No, I'm not running for for the position of House Speaker or anything like that."
Well, she is running for something. I think it's like California Senate or something.
She'll get there eventually, I guess.
Anyway, as for where we are now, as of when we filmed this, the bill is pretty much guaranteed.
Actually, when we were coming into the studio, it was pushed through the Senate, so it's all there.
So the Senate has passed the bill because of those 8 Democrats who capitulated on Sunday night. And then it'll go down to the House where it needs approval, and it could also stall there as well.
Yeah.
Because, Mike Johnson, he's been a bit apprehensive to really do anything for weeks now. He's enjoying his vacation.
And, if you asked him about this whole thing that happened in the Senate on Sunday night,
what?
I'm sorry, I'm hearing this for the first time. I have no idea what's going on.
I'm limiting my screen time.
My son keeps locking my phone remotely.
So, we'll have to wait until, I guess, later in the week to see how this all shakes out. But it's been a very infuriating and disappointing few days after a week of relative joy.
Yeah.
Way to go, Chuck Schumer, a man who seems to be determined to be the worst Schumer in the Schumer family, it's a tight race, folks.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway, elsewhere in Trump world, he has now extended his lawfare to international waters and has filed a lawsuit against the BBC for being very unfair to the president with their editing. For context, he's complaining that they edited down his 2-hour speech on January 6th and stitched it together. Despite his intentions being clear throughout the entirety of the speech that day and in the weeks leading up to it.
Yeah, there was a certain, there was a spark in the air.
There was a continuity to the things he was saying there.
And as, like, even Trump's former fixer from years ago, what was it? Not Avenatti.
Michael Cohen?
Michael Cohen, yeah.
The Pitbull?
He was like, Trump would never directly say anything, but he'll sit there and talk for an hour about and get you to agree to whatever he's doing. So, like, the whole speech was drumming up the crowd. And he did say that he was going to march with them.
Well, if you're going to do any documentary about Donald Trump and the things he said,
it's
got to be like 80 hours long, including
it works in his favor that he goes on nonsensical tangents, because then if you edit out all of the nonsense and connect the things he's supposed to be saying, he's going to say that it was completely edited out of context.
They left out all the fucking rambling bullshit I said in between these two statements.
Yeah.
It's a lie.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, regardless, at least 2 executives at the BBC have already resigned over this. Once again, handing Trump a win, despite his argument being legally dubious. Here's the BBC on the BBC.
The BBC is facing potential legal action from Donald Trump after a leaked memo highlighted issues with how a speech from the president was edited for a documentary broadcast before last year's U.S. election. The memo, written by former BBC advisor Michael Prescott, pointed to the way the Panorama documentary had stitched together separate sections of Trump's speech. The result gave the appearance that Trump had encouraged the Capitol Hill riots. On Sunday evening, BBC Director General Tim Davie and CEO of News Deborah Turnus handed in their resignations. BBC Chair Samir Shah later acknowledged an error of judgment with the edit. For the White House, though, more needs to be done. Lawyers for Trump have demanded 3 actions: a retraction of the documentary, an apology, and compensation. If the broadcaster does not comply, lawyers will proceed with legal action, seeking a sum of $1 billion in damages.
How many American voters would you guess watched this specific BBC documentary about January 6th before the 2024 election? Now take that small, insignificant number, and how many of those people were up until that moment ready to vote for Trump and decided, hey, wait a second.
Well, hold on. They're insinuating that he might have been responsible for all those people going to the Capitol.
This is so fucking stupid.
I am the average American voter watching the BBC's Panorama.
I don't decide who to vote for until I've watched news broadcasts from every country on earth.
Yeah, that's right. That's why Mike Johnson is behind.
Yeah, he's got to catch up. You can't form an opinion on any issue until you've looked at news about it from at least 10 countries.
And at least a couple of weeks have had to pass.
Yeah.
He's just finding out about Charlie Kirk. Oh my God.
Like, this is like, it's similar, like if PBS did something about like British politics and the fucking Tories were saying that like this had actual material harm to them as a political party. Because so many fucking Brits are watching PBS. Fuck off.
Anyways, that was obviously a lot of bad news, and we know it's hard to get through that stuff sometimes, but it is important. And having said that, we have a very funny, mostly inconsequential story coming up in the second half of the show, and it is about Elon Musk having a huge meltdown because he was roasted by an 87-year-old woman on his own platform.
An 87-year-old cat lady with nasty feet.
Yeah, remember that post? Really, when it comes down to it, he got outposted by a poster. Yeah. Like, the poster has been outposted. She has her own weird history that I don't even get into.
She's got an incredible, like, a whole lot of lore.
But let's just say this didn't come out of nowhere. She is prolific in the posting department.
She's a bona fide hater.
That's right. Also, we gathered some of the best sandwich thrower puns from our comment section on the last video that we do want to highlight. So it is a bit more of a fun second half. But first, we have to take a quick break to tell you about today's sponsors, starting with something that has saved my life in the virtual world many times in the past week and a half, Turtle Beach, because I'm playing Arc Raiders. And the sound design in that game is like nothing I have ever played before. And especially when you have the headphones on, it becomes a relatively sort of fun experience that's kind of stressful into a horror movie when you put the headphones on. It's crazy. Here you go. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house not a gamer was stirring, because they were dialed in wearing their brand new Turtle Beach gaming headset. Seriously, they won't even hear Santa coming down the chimney with these things on.
Santa's gonna catch you sleeping.
That's
catch
right.
You gaming.
Yeah, he's gonna be able to kiss mom. He's gonna be kissing your mom without you even notice. Yeah,
be so locked in. Turtle Beach's Gen 3 Stealth 700 headset is the cheat code for giving the best gift of the year. They get to stop sounding like they're talking underwater, and you get to be the holiday MVP. Crystal clear sound, maximum comfort, and the ability to hear every little detail in their game is a much better gift than socks and a mug. And with a long-lasting battery of 80 hours, you can be sure to not run out anytime soon. Whether you're treating yourself yourself or looking for that perfect gift, now's the time to snag the headset that everyone's talking about. For a limited time only, our viewers get 10% off their entire order when you use the code TODAYDAILY at turtlebeach.com. That's 10% off your order at turtlebeach.com with promo code TODAYDAILY.
Turtle Beach, though, they don't just have amazing headsets. They have every gaming accessory you could ever want, and they're all high quality at prices that do not break the bank. From flight and racing simulators to controllers, keyboards, and mice, Turtle Beach is the ultimate gaming cheat code. Get the ultimate immersive gaming experience with Turtle Beach today, because for a limited time, you can head to turtlebeach.com and use code TODAYDAILY for 10% off your entire order. That is 10% off your order at turtlebeach.com with promo code TODAYDAILY. Don't delay. Get the perfect gift now. Happy holidays from Turtle Beach.
This episode's also sponsored by Tushy, something I really missed while I was down in Mexico. Can't even flush toilet paper in a lot of places down there.
Well, Elliot, now that you know the fear and the want and desire of your bidet, wouldn't it be a wonderful gift for someone in your family?
Yeah, or just I'll buy a second one that I pack with my luggage anytime I travel.
They do have a travel one. It's like a squirt bottle, though.
Tushy is makers of our favorite product of all time, the Tushy bidet. You got a lot of words.
This is their copy. I appreciate it, but yeah.
A-hole, stuffing slot, gravy spout, Santa's coal hole. They're only naughty words if you wipe. Your friend who's experiencing a full-body betrayal in the bathroom doesn't want a beard oil kit, so give them daily dignity and endless luxury they'll actually use with a Tushy bidet.
Here you go, stank ass.
Wash that ass, friend. Whether you're shopping for a bro, CEO, daddy, activist, or someone who lights their farts on fire, give the gift that refuses to pick a lane. A bidet from Tushy. The best part, aside from having the cleanest butthole in town, is that Tushy looks like it's supposed to be a part of your toilet already. It's discreet. It's one of those things, if you know, you know. It's not going to weird out the in-laws. They're not going to be asking any questions unless maybe they take it for a spin and their lives will be changed forever. And they'll be like, why didn't you tell me?
Yeah, why isn't one of these under my tree right now?
Tushy is the everyday luxury bidet that instantly transforms your bathroom habits and bottom health for life.
Every Tushy bidet easily attaches to your existing toilet without the need for additional plumbing. Instead of wiping endlessly with toilet paper, ow! Tushy pristinely removes 99% of bacteria while protecting your natural skin barrier thanks to one natural ingredient: fresh water. Installation is simple and takes about 10 minutes to complete. Literally anyone can do it. And Tushy Bidet gives you 2-in-1 benefits, reducing irritation and preventing micro tears with soothing water instead of scratchy toilet paper or damaging wet wipes. People who have made the switch to Tushy use up to 80% less TP, so no more clogged toilets. And every Hello Tushy Bidet comes with a 30-day hassle-free return and 12-month warranty. Remember, a-hole is only a naughty word if you wipe. For a limited time, our viewers get 10% off their first bidet order when you use our code ITDaily at checkout. That is 10% off your first bidet order at hellotushy.com with promo code ITDaily.
Okay, finally back to the news. We haven't not spoken about Elon Musk in at least a couple days.
Yeah, it's been probably a week.
But there's always something going on with him. And the most recent news is that his $1 trillion pay package was approved by the Tesla board. It doesn't make him a trillionaire immediately, but it gives him enough stock to do so if the company hits an $8.5 trillion market cap, which we certainly hope never happens.
I would assume the company will be long gone before that happens, but reality has a way of punching me in the face.
There's going to be 1 billion Atlas robots walking around the Earth a year from now. He promised.
That's right.
And That's when it's going to happen.
I think it's awesome that, he's been promising self-driving cars for so long that in the meantime, he has attempted to invent a autonomous robot that will drive the car.
Yeah, he needed some new promises to make up for
if we eventually got there, now it's just a 500-pound robot that gets in the car with you and drives you where you need to go.
He invented the Johnny Cab. Mm-hmm. Anyway, according to CNN, Tesla also needs to achieve a series of either operational or financial targets for him to get the full number of shares, which would be distributed in 12 equal blocks. And they add that getting all the shares available under this package over the next 10 years would be the equivalent of earning $275 million a day, dwarfing any other executive pay package in history. For Tesla to reach the $8.5 trillion in market value needed, shares need to jump 466% from today's stock price. That's also about 70% higher than the world's most valuable company, Nvidia, which hit a record $5 trillion market cap last week.
When I think of someone who needs $275 million a day, every day, it's clearly Elon Musk.
Well, he got that's a lot of books you can buy. A lot of books and movies you can buy with that money. And we know that Elon loves reading. He loves watching. He loves listening to music. Yeah. He loves looking at beautiful photographs.
He's a real Renaissance man.
He loves enjoying the great outdoors. He has a rich interior life, Elon Musk, and isn't just sitting on the fucking phone all goddamn day trying to get people who have never met him to love him.
Yeah, it's really sad. But again, it seems unlikely, but the blind confidence from these investors is very questionable. And they seem to be convinced that AI-powered robots are the future and that Elon Musk is the guy who's going to bring the best product to market. But still, even with $1 trillion or the billions that he's already currently worth, you can't buy a personality. And Musk was reminded of that this weekend when he was bodied so hard by an 87-year-old woman that he spent the next 24 hours desperately trying to prove how cool he is to anyone that would engage with him. And some people that weren't even engaging with him, he found threads about movies that he just appeared in.
It's
great movie.
It's like, it's so fucking, I imagine, so fucking satisfying that like you managed to cut a man's soul this deeply that you can just see
the results of the crash out. Yeah. You can see him literally spinning out of control.
Yeah, while pretending
everything's fine. So on Saturday afternoon, during a discussion about Tesla and Musk's obscene pay package, again, obscene, award-winning author and university professor and prolific poster and had a bad case of athlete's foot at one point.
She decided to share it. People were like,
was it athlete's foot or poison ivy?
I think it was poison ivy.
Okay, it was
fucking nasty.
Anyways, Joyce Carol Oates posted what many would call a pretty accurate observation of Musk.
Yeah.
So curious that such a wealthy man never posts anything that indicates that he enjoys or is even aware of what virtually everyone appreciates. Scenes from nature, pet dog or cat, praise for a movie, music, a book, but doubt that he reads, pride in a friend's or relative's accomplishment, condolences for someone who has died, pleasure in sports, acclaim for a favorite team, references to history. In fact, he seems totally uneducated, uncultured. The poorest persons on Twitter may have access to more beauty and meaning in life than the, quote, most wealthy person in the world.
And yeah, like I'd never had this thought expressed this succinctly, but it absolutely
that's why writers are great.
True.
Yeah.
Also, I've never read a Joyce Carol Oates book. If you got recommendations, leave them below. She's been writing books for like a very fucking long time. Yeah. It's weird that
she's so old she could run for the Senate.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we've been covering this guy for over a decade.
He doesn't really care about things.
Yeah, if he
does, it's a surface level based on weird masculinity things that it's like he gets things in a referential sense, but never understands them on any kind of deeper level.
Yeah, exactly. He loves dropping references, but there's never any sense that he has an actual like appreciation for art or the themes of it or any sort of like analytical understanding or enjoyment of art.
In retrospect, he seems to get it wrong most of the time. Like the interpretation seems to be the opposite of what was intended.
This is all these fucking all these tech guys. Yeah, it's fascinating. What little art they do enjoy, they seem to have read when they were teenagers.
Yeah,
and have not like evolved past it at all. And they took all the wrong fucking messages from it as well.
Of course. And what is specifically noticeable about this, the entire thing is it's a beautifully written observation of Musk, a very simple.
Yeah,
well-written observation of Musk. But
he may be rich in terms of money, but he is very poor in spirit.
Yeah. But him and his fans, his sycophants, his followers, they really only honed in on like that he's unread or something.
Yeah, they're like,
he can read. He reads books all the time. Duh. Yeah, so the reaction was certainly something.
So yeah, obviously Elon did not take this very well. Musk would definitely be the first to say that he's not mad. And you definitely shouldn't print in the newspaper that he was mad.
Not mad, actually.
But he was obviously deeply affected by this, and he replied to Oates saying things like, "Oates is a liar and delights in being mean, not a good human." And eating a bag of sawdust would be vastly more enjoyable than reading the laboriously pretentious drivel of Oates.
Okay, Grok. He definitely got grokked right there.
This is an interesting thing you see lately when people are like so mad that they can't think straight and they run to a chatbot to write their response for them, but it's like very fucking obvious that that's what they did.
Also, I did see there was so much that I was scrolling through today, but there were some where people were pulling examples of like Elon, speaking at length knowledgeably about certain books or whatever, and it was clearly AI summaries of the books themselves. Like he's like Grok, I know that I like the Iliad or something like that, but describe it knowing me why I like it.
Yeah, and I've never seen Elon himself phrase it this way or acknowledge it this way, but like I've seen multiple other tech guys be like, one of the greatest things about AI is
it reads books for you.
It reads the books for you. You can skip all the filler and just you can read like a book with breakfast every day. And people are like, that's not reading. But they don't seem to see a difference. They're like, all the like manually reading a book is just a waste of time when you could have a chatbot read it for you and just tell you all the important stuff.
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, Elon, he also spent the next 2 days desperately trying to prove that he loves movies and books. Because despite the rest of her posts being equally, if not more, destructive, Musk and his followers really seem to hone in on the claim that he doesn't read any books. In fact, some users reported that they started getting ads for Elon Musk reading lists following the posts.
Yeah, I guess this was popping up.
I did see this, and it's interesting timing. So the ad appears to have existed for a while, but probably started popping up because of keywords related to the posts about his reading habits.
The AI probably that's doing the ads for Twitter or X or whatever is probably like, people are talking about Elon and books. Great time to run this ad.
His love of books. A man of letters, Elon Musk. But yeah, folks were quick to point out that the service being promoted by this ad, it lets people get summaries of books instead of having to actually read them, which...
Yep. Then for several hours, Elon just sat on his own website, replying to posts about movies and responding with things like, "Great movie." "I like The Fifth Element. Great movie."
Great movie. A movie I have seen and enjoyed and understood.
Yeah. This spawned an incredible comic by @Leon on Blue Sky. "So curious that the richest man in the world doesn't have a favorite shape. Does he even know any shapes?" @Shape Aesthetics. "The triangle is a shape with 3 sides and 3 corners. One of the most basic yet beautiful shapes in Euclidean geometry." @Elon Musk. "Great shape."
Yeah, because he was replying mostly or maybe entirely to one specific Twitter account called like Synesthetics. It's just like a screenshot from a movie and just like a brief summary of the movie or whatever.
He was so upset, and he goes, "No, I like movies. I like movies. I'm gonna send Grok a list of movies that I like, and then it's gonna find an account that's posting about these movies." And I'm going to find like some really cool images from that movie. And then it'll show that like I've seen that part.
Yeah.
He's the Leonardo DiCaprio in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Hey, I get that reference.
Anyway, both Musk and Oates have the poster's disease, but she's clearly way better at posting and roasting than he is. And she put a nail in the coffin on Monday evening when she replied to someone who mentioned that Elon always wants to leave places. Because he left South Africa, he left Canada, left California, etc. And she replied, "Wherever he goes, he wants to leave. That's because when he gets there, he has brought his own self along. And whatever club he's invited to join has been devalued by the invitation." Jesus, Carol. Joyce Carol.
He's already dead. Leave him alone. I love it's just so sad that wherever he goes, he's brought his own self along. It's like, this is the most destructive thing you could say to someone. Well, yeah, it sucks. You're here.
Yeah.
But folks,
I need JCO book recommendations. I've been waiting too long. So if you've read some JCO and you liked what you read, let me know down there.
It's just like, imagine someone's like, "Well, I went to the theme park and I didn't have a great time." Well, obviously, because you were there.
You brought yourself along.
It's so good. I would use it, but it would cause someone to cry in real life.
Yeah.
Like, God damn. Anyways,
Your misery is as inescapable as your own self.
if you thought that was sad, even before author Joyce Carol Oates publicly dissected him, Musk willingly posted what many are calling the saddest, most pathetic post of all time.
Oh, God. Get ready to cringe.
Saying, Guac, imagine the prompt. She smiles and says, I will always love you. This was posted at 3 o'clock in the morning. And this is before he gets taken to task by Oates. Like, even before that, it's like, this is the saddest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, dude, what the fuck?
Imagine spending like hundreds of millions of dollars to invent something that invents a girlfriend, like an image of a girl that tells you she loves you.
And then publicly
Posting about
it. Saying.
Just a miserable existence for the world's richest man. Something truly, I mean, he is kind of, for future generations, you could point to this and say, this is why you shouldn't be greedy.
Yeah, or just rich at all.
Yeah, at all. This should be a lesson for all of us.
Look what money does to you.
Yeah. Turns you into a gooner. It's very pathetic, all of it, especially from the fact that it's coming from the world's richest man. But before we leave you today, we, of course, wanted to say thank you for helping us raise nearly $35,000 for Feeding America. We are, of course, always blown away by your generosity. It makes us very proud that we have cultivated a community of truly charitable and good people. It's mind-blowing, and I'm sure that everyone's going to very much appreciate it, including Feeding America. So YouTube's going to get that sent over. Thank you if you were able to contribute last week. But you're not just heroes. You're also incredibly funny. And we saw some amazing comments on our most recent video about the DC sandwich thrower being acquitted that we had to share. So we're going to do that. Shout out some members of the community. Elliot, start us off.
Zach123321 said, dude got acquitted from assault with a Bradley weapon.
Olsha RS said, footlong felon finds freedom from fascist fools.
Prime Minister of Silly Things said, confirmed, assault with a deli weapon is not a crime.
Badonk Badonk said, in this case, PTSD means pickles, tomato, sauce, and deli meats.
The Haggard Rye said, there goes my gyro. Watch him as he throws.
There goes my gyro.
Yeah, okay.
Gyro, Elliot.
Gyro.
Vids of Stuff hit on the PTSD angle again, saying, post-traumatic sandwich disorder is genuine.
New Name Old Game called it Panic at the Quiznos because of our High Hopes dance.
Yeah, you
That's
get the
good.
sandwich and the song.
We love the meats. Or no, that's Arby's. We like the moon was fuck.
You're thinking of the little hamsters with the fucked up teeth?
Yeah, that was Quiznos.
Yeah, that was Quiznos.
Which was like
I can't remember
that was
the
like
words.
that was like an actual Newgrounds animation.
And then they just paid for
and they're
it
like,
from yeah.
like fucking millennial teenagers love this shit. Let's put it on a TV ad, and everyone else is like,
What?
what? And that's why they're out of business. Anyway, this person with a very long username said, if the wrapper ain't split, you must acquit. Which, yeah.
Yeah.
That
was an intact
the sandwich
sandwich.
exploded? I don't think
believe
so.
No. Anyways, thank you for, I had a real good chuckle this weekend checking the comments and seeing all that.
Sensible chuckle.
All of that positivity, especially, like, man, before Sunday night, it was a great bunch of days.
Well,
And
the
then
fun can never last
And then the
too
Senate
long.
Democrats had to literally go, I
Chuck
couldn't
Schumer
believe it.
saw everyone enjoying themselves, and he said,
His glasses slid down and he said, no. Anyways, that's it for today's video. We will, of course, have more for you this week. But in the meantime, make sure you like the video. Click the like button. Click it for us. Click it for everyone who raised money for the charity. Just click it. Leave a comment, because you never know when I'm going to show it on the episode. I mean, I do it once every 3 years or so, but
you never know.
You never know. And yeah, make sure you reply to a comment. If you're feeling frisky and you got some money left over, click the join button, become a paid subscriber of the channel, and make sure you watch that video that we were talking about. We have 2 new episodes for you to watch over there.
Not very new, but
whatever. Check those out, and we'll see you for new episodes soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.